All right, what's going on? It's the Business Man, and I'm here to interview another dynamic entrepreneur. In celebration of Women's History Month, I have Miss Tequila Woodbine with the Money Medic. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
All right, so listen, my background is healthcare administration. I actually started out as a paramedic.
Okay.
Did that for about 17 years in emergency medicine. And then, as I was doing that, one of the departments that I was over was part of insurance. And I
Okay.
found out our community didn't understand their health insurance. And so, as I was running the ER during COVID, I got introduced to an opportunity to educate, first of all, to learn more about the rules of money. And then as I learned, I was able to educate. They say to learn a actual product or to be a master teacher.
10,000 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10,000 hours, right? And the best way to learn is to teach as
Mm-hmm.
well. And so I got inside of it. My team consists of majority everybody in healthcare. I got doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, and everybody on the team. And that's how we got the name Money Medics. All right.
All right, and so the Money Medics, what exact? So we've learned about some different insurance and financial products, but what do the Money Medics really do?
Man, we do everything. So we're able to help small business owners, individuals, large corporations with retirement planning, also with something that's called living benefits. So what do I mean by living benefits? Let's say you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, end stage renal disease, get shot, get stabbed, have a bad car wreck, right?
Okay.
In Memphis, we see people flying up and down. It's a joke. We joke about the infinities, right, around here.
Anything.
Yeah, and people don't have insurance, but guess what? You're covered, right? And so we're able to help people in the worst case scenario to make sure you don't have to worry about finances. Even if a family member, the breadwinner, dies, we can help make sure that their legacy still lives on. Also, too, we do what's called IUL, Index Universal Life Insurance Plan, where we show people how to become their own bank. And then we also do FIAs, which is the fixed index annuities. So we show people how to grow money without having to pay taxes. So we also help people stay in their homes when they have a medical emergency. So we do a lot of things. Also, we teach entrepreneurship, right?
Okay.
My background is leadership development. So I do a lot of leadership training, a lot of entrepreneurship training, teaching people how to create systems and things like that.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So to piggyback, not to piggyback, but to jump back to one of my first questions, which I should have already asked you before we got into all this good information, is right now, in one word, what would you say your entrepreneur journey is right now?
Exhilarating.
Why?
Man, I am so geeked that I get to do something that I love. That's actually have healthcare in it too, because I
Okay.
love healthcare. So there's some healthcare in it as well. Being able to give back to my community and help my community. I absolutely love helping people. And so to do it and be able to make money and then be in control of my schedule and my
Mm-hmm.
time is worth it. So
Wow.
I absolutely, I'm
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the journey.
Awesome. And so coming from a healthcare and like a leadership and admin background into now marketing financial products and services,
Hmm.
I know you said you kind of had your epiphany managing and running the ER in 2020 and COVID. God bless you
Woo!
for that. But I guess really, what was the one thing or the series of things that made me go? Because you've been 17 years
17
in
years.
healthcare, and
Yep.
so 17 years. Take me back to those series or of events, or if it was just one event when you was like, man, maybe I need to find something else.
Wow, it was a combination of things. The first thing that happened, my nephew, which was 13 at the time, and my brother, which was 16 at the time, got hit by a car. All right, it was on Mother's Day of 2020, and actually they was walking down the street to the Family Dollar to actually buy my mom a Mother's Day gift. This couple got into an argument and jumped the curb and hit them while they was walking down the sidewalk. All right. And so my brother broke all his bones in his back. He broke his neck, had a collapsed lung, broke his femur bone, and he was in trauma ICU for 3 months. My nephew broke all the bones in his back as well, had some internal bleeding, and still to this day, he's at Labonner at least once a month from the injuries that occurred. So I was thinking, because my mom and my sister-in-law had to be off work for 3 months to be by their side. One was at the Med, well, Regional 1. I still call you Med, right? And the other one was at Labonner in trauma ICU, and they had to take off work, right? And so it just made me think about, there are other parents that have to take care of their children and stay inside the hospital. Well, who's going to help them financially, right? And so my mom had to look insurance at the job, and they paid her out, and it was like Aflac. It was like a $10,000 or $15,000 payout. But my brother is not the same today because he had a traumatic brain injury. He's no longer the same person, right? And he's unable to use his right arm. He's paralyzed because of that. And my nephew, he has to take high blood pressure medication, all of this. So I'm like, when things like this happen, there needs to be something in place. Little did I know, and I thought I knew everything, right? There was something called life insurance with the living benefits. So if we would have had their product, if I would have known about their product, that my mom didn't have to be harassed about when she's coming back to work, right? And she would have had enough money, not even worry about going back to work. That was one thing. Then the second thing I thought about, it was the COVID vaccine.
Okay.
So I'm running the ER, right? Running the ER, been there for 3 years, sun up, sun down. Even when my brother and them had their accident, I slept in a little chair, got back up, went to work, working 50, 60 hours, and I come to work and they say, hey, Tequila, listen, we're making it mandatory to take this COVID vaccine. If you don't take this vaccine, you're going to lose your job. And I'm thinking, like, I gave you guys the best of me, the best years of my life, and you're going to tell me because you want me to get this vaccine that if I don't get it, that I lose my job? So I was like, you know what? Deuces. I absolutely left, took my purse, and I was gone. I didn't even pack my office up because they gave me to the end of the day to make a decision. And so then, right then and there, I knew he who controls your income controls you. But great thing, I had a part-time business that I already had. That actually, I made more with my part-time business than I was making working at the ER. I was just doing it because I love what I did. And so, outside of that, I became a full-blown entrepreneur.
Okay. And so you have definitely an interesting story. But it's kind of also, I guess, kind of turn the negative into a positive.
Yes.
Because your decision wasn't made for you, but you was like, I gotta take this shot or lose my job. And it's probably just the principle. Like,
it's the principle.
It was just the principle. Like, this how you coming at me?
Yeah.
But like you say, you were already making money with your side business. So although it was a little bit different from you, let's just kind of, if that situation wouldn't have happened, how do you think the adjustment would have been like from go ahead and leaving this full-time, this corporate job to stepping out into entrepreneurship full-time?
Man, let me tell you, it's scary because all I know is healthcare. You know what I'm saying? All I knew healthcare. I was used to getting up, going, working for somebody, and having that guaranteed money. I think if I wouldn't have already had that entrepreneur spirit, it would have been a hard transition. I would have took the shot. You know what I'm saying? Because of security purposes. Not saying nothing wrong with the COVID shot. You do what you want to do. It's your body, right? But what I'm saying, you don't tell me what I get to put in my body. That's my choice. And you don't force me to do anything, right? So that just made it an easy decision for me. I tell people all the time, if you enjoy doing something, if you have passion in doing it, if you will do it for free, you need to figure out how to make a business out of it, right? Because I don't know about you, but I refuse to work 40 years, 40 hours for somebody's job to retire and only be able to enjoy the last 5 or 10 years of my life. I want to start enjoying my life now, right?
Right. Powerful stuff.
Man.
People need to hear it. Definitely dropping gems. Okay, and so now, as an entrepreneur, what inspires you to stay on the journey?
Man, you know what? It's really, I don't know if you guys listen to 19 Keys. Shout out to 19 Keys. That's my guy. I don't know if you heard of him or
Okay.
not. So it's really just like, it's like giving birth to something, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like giving birth. So you have this vision in your head, right? You have it in your head, then you take it out of your head, then you put it on paper, right? Then after you put it on paper, you make plans to make it come for
business plan.
That's right. You make a business plan, right?
Yeah.
And I just get joy of knowing that I brought that thought and transported it into reality.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so not only that, I know so many of us, we run corporate America, right?
Mm-hmm.
We run corporate America. Just think about it. If you take your gifts and talents and work for yourself, how great of a business that you have. So that's one of the reasons why I keep getting up and going. I give 8 hours. I gave 17 years. Now, I've been working since I was 16. I'm in my early 40s, right? But just think about it. If I would have spent that time working on mine, just working on mine. So if I gave them 17 years, God darn, I'm going to give myself 17 years. And you know what? A lot of times we go to these jobs and tell you when you can go to the restroom, when you can take off, when you can spend time with your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tell you that, and we still get up and we go.
Right.
But one bad thing happened, you're an entrepreneur, you want to quit. Why quit on yourself? I'm not going to quit on myself.
Right.
I'm not a quitter, so that's why I'm going to continue to keep going for the generations to come. And then I have 3 sons that's looking up to me. They all grown now, but they looking up to me. And then not only that, I have other people that are looking up to me. So I want to make sure I'm setting a great example and letting them know if I can do it, you can do it.
Man, you just answered a whole lot of questions in that one answer for me. And one of the things you touched on, well, a couple things you touched on generational wealth a little bit, and you also touched on like your business being your baby, right? And so I use that analogy a lot because people often say, you got to build your team. I need to build a team. But I prefer to say you got to build your village because it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
Your business is your baby. It's
Yes.
your child. And so now you really need that village. So kind of going with that mindset, tell me about, I think you just touched on 19 keys, but who else kind of inspires you to stay in this game and continue to want to make yourself better, to continue to follow the dream that you've already, started?
Man, I really want to say my grandmother.
Okay.
My grandmother. Listen, you guys, I don't know if you guys thought about retirement. My grandmother thought that Social Security was retirement.
That's most people.
Yeah.
People still in 2023. It's some young adults who still like
Think so?
401k, Social Security. I'm straight.
Yeah, they think that's retirement. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, she passed away 2 years ago. She worked 2 jobs until she was 75. 75 years old. Then when she got ready to retire, actually she was forced into retirement because she fell and broke her knee and she couldn't recover from that. And she was forced into retirement. I watched this lady from when I was a kid get up, and I'm telling you, she worked 2 jobs. Even if she didn't work 2 jobs, she was working 50 hours a week. Give somebody else job her all. And then when it was time for her to retire, she didn't have nothing. Then she had Alzheimer's. And I don't know if you or anybody experience or know about the horrible disease called Alzheimer's, right? And it was just hard for my family to take care of her, right? So we had to take care of her and still get up and go to work. I don't want that to happen to my mom. So I said, I got to make a change and I got to make a difference. So I knew right then and there, slaving and working hard in the wrong industry does not pay off. And another thing that I knew, you can't leave a job to your children. You know?
Say that one more time, because it makes so much sense, but I ain't never said that out loud before.
Man, you cannot leave a job to your children, but you can leave a business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I leave this earth, I want to be able to leave a business to my children, not a job, right? She did a great job working at Embassy Suite. My grandmother worked at Embassy Suite, right? All her life. But she couldn't leave us her job, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So watching her go through what she went through, working her butt off, not calling in, day out, showing up an hour early from work, and then during her golden years, when she really needed the help most, she didn't have anything. So that's what inspired me because I don't want my mom to go through that cycle, and I'm not gonna go through that cycle as
Right,
well.
that's awesome. And like as you say that, I'm thinking about my grandmother, who like in the same boat but for different reasons, right? My
Mm-hmm.
grandmother, she was about 75, 76 before she retired for the third time.
Mm-hmm.
Grandmother retired from three different jobs, and like she's always been a worker bee, always been a hustler, but not necessarily because she needed to. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? My grandmother's that person to where we was like, man, I'm scared for her to retire because
Right.
she's on the go so
So
you
much,
know,
yeah.
like, and so it was kind of she gonna retire, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but like I say, she was working, she was working. But for me, I saw that and was like, okay, that's awesome. Definitely got the work ethic out of it.
Yeah.
Also, definitely saw that, hey, man, she done retired from three jobs. So, like, if you done retire from a job and then you still got to work or still want to work or
Man.
whatever, like, when I retire, like, I'm probably, I give me something just to have some play money.
Yeah,
But
right,
I want to
right,
be able to live off of, you
right.
know, my retirement. And so I do kind of see that. And that's, you know, that's real. That's real. That's real life motivation. So I
Man.
appreciate you sharing it with me. So Granny was the inspiration.
Yes.
You don't want moms to be like that. You want to be able to leave a business to your children. All right. So we got three boys. So
Mhm.
tell me right now in your journey, what does that look like? Like you leaving your business to your boys. What does that look like?
Oh wow, man! Shout out to my sons as well. They all across the country. What it looks like is that hey, in the event that I die, it's gonna be split three different ways. So I have a book of business. So each year, my children would get residual income from my business, right? And they don't have to fight over it. Me working in the emergency room, right? I see a lot of people, they ain't even cold yet. And families
Oh
up
yeah,
there fighting about
definitely.
who gets what. I don't want that to happen with my
Mm-hmm.
children. It's already structured out and planned out. You get this 33%, 33, 33, and I'm going to give 1%. I'm going to donate it to a nonprofit organization. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it can have that. So each and every year, my children, not on top of my business, I got other things set in place, right? They're going to be able to give even money for the rest of their lives as well.
So
Hmm.
definitely hear you splitting the monetary assets. What about the house? How you feel about
The house.
leaving the house? Give
You
me.
know what? I actually, this is something that I want. I've been in my, I was pretty smart. I got my house when I was in my 20s.
Me too.
So, so I want the house to always stay in a family. I want it to be a family house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I put in my will. Don't sell a house.
Okay.
Anybody in the family needs somewhere to lay their head, they can stay here. You guys can put a pot together and just have it set to the side for repairs that needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
but don't sell the house. You know, that's just something I
That's
want.
interesting. Like I'm always trying to, as I try to prepare for generational wealth and get my estate together and everything like that. Like that's something I always think about, like the house. Because when you talk about leaving stuff to multiple people, like it's hard to leave a house
It
to
is.
multiple people. It's hard to share
Mhm.
a house. So I'm always interested into knowing how other people approach it. So focusing back on generational wealth, and we're touching on some things. So you say you already have basically your will is already done. You have your business broke down. You have your personal assets broken down. So tell me, I guess a little bit about the structure that you have, and then if you don't have one already, I want to talk about trust
Mm.
a little bit for our people, trying to because we talk about generational wealth, We know we need a will. We're definitely gonna talk about some insurance products. But
Hmm.
then just tell me kind of the products that you have in place in your will right now.
Man, that's a really great question. I'm glad that you asked that question too, because one of the things as a black community that we don't do, we do not prepare our families, especially our children, for when we die.
Of course.
And that's something we have to do a better job of doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we got to have those. We believe, oh, if I talk about it, it's going to happen. Listen, news flash. I've never seen a 300-year-old person. We're all going to die. Prepare for it.
Right.
We're all going to die, whether you talk about it or not. We're going to pass away,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so one of the things that I set in place is that most people, when they think about life insurance, they're really thinking about death insurance,
Definitely
right?
is.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So if you understand that life insurance is just buying money, if I was to tell you I have $100 for $1, man, people gonna be lined up to buy it. I'm telling you, a life insurance. That's exactly what it is. So the most affordable way to leave generational wealth is life insurance. I have life insurance policies for each one of my children. Not only that, I have them for my nieces and nephews. I'm the oldest of 15, and I have over 32 nieces and nephews. I want to be able to leave everybody something. What you do with the money is on you. You know what I'm saying? So I have different insurance policies for different family members where they're the beneficiary. We don't have to go to probate court. They ain't got to fuss and fight over who does what. It's already set in stone. They know who I have my insurance product with, and that's what they're able to do. They know in the event mama dies, I got the brown envelope with all her policy information on, everybody's names on who gets what. All you gotta do is call this person, and they're gonna get you everything that you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I made it very simple. Very, very simple. So that's what I have in place.
Okay.
Mhm.
That sounds awesome. That's very good. And I'm just trying to think of because man, a lot of our people don't have that. I would. What would you say the percent wise, like a black community? How many of us got our stuff together, got it labeled like kids know, family know what's up? Like what percentage would you think just we got our stuff together?
If 10%. Because I'm going to tell you why. People have a false sense of security. Oh, I got insurance on my job. When you retire, you don't have it anymore. That's why so many elderly people don't have insurance. Because they had it on their job and they thought when they retired it would transfer over. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. You will be surprised that people that are making $250,000, $300,000 a year don't even have that in place.
Oh yeah.
They don't have it.
You're well
They're
into it.
living,
Yeah.
yeah, they're
I mean,
living paycheck to paycheck.
it's just a different tax bracket, but they live in paycheck to paycheck as well.
Yes.
And I guess what I'm interested about is how can we really take your process, your plan that you have in place, and really take it to the next level. So I brought up trust,
Mhm.
and I'm still learning a little bit about it. I'm trying to get
Okay.
a probate lawyer on here sooner than later. But from what you have, like having insurance products on multiple nieces and nephews, all your kids and stuff like that, and kind of having different beneficiaries for everything. When I look at the trust, is having like a family trust to
Mhm.
really be the central catalyst of this generational wealth thing, right? And so where you would name the beneficiary, the trust would be the beneficiary, and a lot of products and a lot of assets and stuff like that. And then the actual trust will have its articles of incorporation, the governance,
Mhm.
like who does this and who can get
Mhm.
this, and the stipulations for getting this and this and this. Do you think that is something that you would want your sons to kind of transition that into, or do you think that Lord allow you to live for 50 more years, that might be something that you transition to, based on the foundation that you've already started?
You know what? That is something that I'm going to transition to. So let me tell you about trust. And most people don't understand trust as well. You have two very, very wealthy families. And give you a backstory. You have the Vanderbilts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right. The Vanderbilts, how they was able to spread generational wealth, they didn't have a trust or anything, right? So if you're born into the family, guess what? You just inherit the family's money. The only millionaire, and I don't even know if he's a millionaire, that's in the Vanderbilt family is Anderson Cooper. All right. So then you have the Rockefellers.
All right.
So everybody know about the Rockefellers.
Of course.
Some say they own America, all right? But listen, I don't want to get started. That's for another
the Kennedys
podcast.
own America.
Yeah, that's for another podcast, right? Yeah. So the Rockefellers did something a little bit different, all right? So what they did, they got insurance. Mm-hmm. The Rockefeller got life insurance. As soon as a baby was born, as early as 14 days, you can get insurance on a child as early as 14 days, as long as you have that Social Security number. What they did, they got trust on every single family member. Mm-hmm. So the Rockefellers still have over 100 and I think it's like 24 people living off their trust. Mm-hmm. Because what they did, a portion of the life insurance policy that, hey, okay, I'm going to pass away, I'm going to give this portion to you. I may have a $2 million life insurance policy. I'm going to give $1 million to you and I'm going to put $1 million back into the trust. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's running your family as a business, as it should be. Right. You know? Yeah. So that's how trust. And then there's certain stipulations. Me personally, because that's why I'm transitioning my things into a trust too, mm-hmm. as well. Because I don't care if you my son or not. If you over here acting a darn fool, you ain't getting a dime. I want these certain stipulations. Hey, you need to go feed the homeless. I'm just saying. That's mm-hmm. not going to be the stipulations, right? But hey, if you're 25, right, I want you to go feed the homeless. Or I want you to go donate this. Or I want you to go take their class, mm-hmm. right? So that's pretty much how trust is set up to make sure that the family name lives on. You know what I'm saying? So that's the big difference of different families and how they was able to grow their wealth. And if studies have shown when people have a trust, their legacy lives longer than when they don't, right? Yeah. So that's why I am definitely transitioning to where some of my money, yeah, you can get this $1 million, but this other $1 million is going back to the trust for the family. Right. And then, I don't know about you, but I'm the oldest of 15 children. And I love being around my family, right? You know, we joke about the Latinos. They have multiple families in one home. We should. You shouldn't kick your children out when they're young, right? I don't per se believe in that. I want to have a big enough house so I can have my aunts, my mama, and all of us stay in one house. You know what I'm saying? That's a dream of mine. Might not be my husband's dream. If you see this, it's not his dream. But however, I really want it to be to where all of us, you don't necessarily just have to stay there. You can be under one roof, right? Because in order to make America better and make the world better, it starts with the family. It starts with the family. The family is a business. You know what I'm saying? It is a business.
Yes. Like everything's a business. That's the whole premise behind business, man. Like every church business, family business, work business, like everything is a business. And once you put business on something, don't matter what's in front of it, it's business.
That's it, because you know what?
It's business.
It's business. And that's why America favors business owners, not employees, right? And that's why we can't get ahead of the curve, because we don't understand that it is a business. You know what I'm saying? So we got to learn more about business. Back in the day, you didn't see people. Let's talk about what happened back in Tulsa. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's for another podcast, right?
Black Wall Street.
Yes, right? Businesses. You know, they had businesses. Back in the day, when we were back coming out of slavery, we had businesses. We weren't working for people, right? We weren't working. So we got to get back to that. That's the root of us bringing ourselves up, stopping crime and making it better. It's business ownership. But people don't get that, though, you know? But that's what we're here for.
I mean, yeah, that's what we're here for. And I think some people get it. I definitely think it's more people need to get on it. But looking at history and how history repeats itself, talking about like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it's hundreds of other
Stores,
examples where we
yes.
can look at that. You know, when we tried to come up, mind our own little business, like stuff happened. Like even here locally, like Orange Mound.
Mm.
Uh, Not gonna go into the whole history lesson, but there was really no reason for Orange Mound not to have its own charter as its own township or city,
Mm-hmm.
just like Cordova and Arlington and Bartlett and all these places, because like we was put there, it was like, hey, y'all go hang out over there.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was time, you know, everybody was getting their charter, we in the charter line, they like, nah, y'all straight. And
Mm-hmm.
then you see what happened. Even though there was one of the predominant black
Mm-hmm.
for us by us communities in the
Yep.
world, like we still got the short end of the straw.